So, this episode's gonna be about some random quotes, but there is gonna be more after the intro, as always. And with that being said, hello and welcome back to the next episode of the Self-Development with Tactics podcast, and I'm really looking forward to this episode, even though, as you then can see on the site itself, where I'm having this quote-unquote random quote generator, it is a little bit of a funny thing, but you're gonna see that, But before we even go through the whole episode, there's 3 things that I'm willing to talk about. The first thing is, if you're willing to listen to this, because I'm often assuming that people are just watching it as a YouTube video, but if you're willing to listen to this as it would actually be a podcast, then please go down into the description, because it actually is a podcast, and check out the first link, and this link should lead you to a page where you can also choose where to listen to the podcast on, because it is available on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, on Stitcher, on TuneIn, on Castbox, on Breaker, on Radio Republic. It's quite everywhere. So wherever you're listening to your podcasts, it should be there as well. So I at least hope that it is also there, but I'm quite sure. The second thing is notes. If you're willing to have a summary of past episodes, then please check out this link. It's going to lead you to a page where you can choose a bunch of PDFs, and it is for free, and you can just download them and also print them, whatever you're willing to do with them. The third one is probably a more important one than the second one. If you're willing to have some background music in this video, then please check out the third link, so that you can actually also adjust the volume of it so that it's not too loud, it's not too silent, so you just have a more personalized experience. But yeah, let's go through the quotes and let's see if they're actually any good. I hope they are. Yeah, we're gonna see, we're gonna have a look at them and we're gonna see, and yeah. We're gonna see, but it's probably gonna be okay. It's probably gonna be quite fine. So, and as you now can see on the left side of the screen, it is like there's some code there. You can actually embed them into your... Maybe I'm actually gonna do that. It would actually be something quite nice. You can embed this on your website. I assume that you can. It's with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Yeah, you can use it. I think it is just free for using. I don't know if it is. I assume it is. But yeah, and on the very bottom you can see that there is a quote, and if I'm just pressing the quote me button, it is also just refreshing this one. So let's actually press it 3 times, because actually I don't know why, but just let's press it 3 times and see what's gonna come up. From George Carlin: atheism is a non-profit organization. I don't know if you can, well, I think it is actually, I don't know if the listeners can just assume what it is all about. Because atheism is a non-profit, in terms of not profit, but profit organization. I think it is actually quite funny, even though it's, well, I don't know if only it's me that's finding that funny, but I think it is actually funny. The next one is from Mark Twain: get your facts first, and then you can distort them as you please. And it kind of, because I've actually already seen this one, and I really hope that it is not like just 2 quotes and then that's quite it. I really hope that it's not going to be the case. But the thing is, if we're just thinking about that, like, if we are just gathering the facts first and then you can distort them, what I'm seeing there is like the exact same thing as you're going to just have to learn the rules first until you can actually break them. And I think, like, yeah, it does make sense, it really does make sense that you can also consciously break them, especially when I'm thinking about design. And there's definitely quite a lot of different things you should be doing in terms of like, okay, this is just a rule, quote unquote rule, and it just maybe makes sense to do something like that. But I'm really often seeing just people neglecting these things. Of course, I don't know, like it is a little bit of a strange thing to explain there, but I really have a feeling that you gotta have to learn them first until you can actually break them. I think it is actually the truth, and I think it also makes sense, because if you're consciously breaking them, it is just a complete different feeling that you're having by doing these things. Because, for example, in design, and you do not really know what you're fucking doing there, then it is gonna feel different. It's gonna feel like, well, I've just done this consciously, and it is now quote unquote art because you've done something consciously. It is like just a thought in this piece of art or in this piece of design, or maybe it's even architecture. It's probably also gonna be architecture. Let's see what the next one is. From Ayn Rand: a creative man is motivated by the desire to achieve and not by the desire to beat others. And I would say so as well, and I think it is actually a pretty good quote, because it just, well, the thing is, of course there's going to be competition. Also when you are a creative person, whether it is in terms of design, if it is in terms of marketing, or if it is in terms of building houses as an architect, or even building rockets. Elon Musk, you're also an artist, I would say, or at least a really creative person, because even if you're just solving mathematical equations, you also gotta have to be fucking creative to do that, sometimes. I don't know how often you're gonna just be having that creativity, but I think you do just have to have it, especially if you're just trying to solve some things that nobody just solved before you. Then you just really have to be creative, I guess, at least. I'm not a mathematician, so I don't know, but I assume. And so the thing is like, yes, of course there's going to be competition, as I said before, like, especially in the whole design world. Like, there's so much competition, you just also want to be. But I think as I'm just thinking about it, I'm just really, really, really rarely, and I do think if I've ever thought about that, I don't really think that I'm just sometimes trying to be better than somebody else. When I'm designing something and I feel it is not just right, or I think it is just not the best product or something, then I'm changing it, or then I'm trying to change it. But it's not like, okay, I'm just willing to change this one, I'm just willing to make it better just because I want to be better than somebody else. Like, it is just really rarely something that I think about. Actually, I never ever quite think about that. I think I really don't. Like, it is just about my work and making my work better and progressing my work in terms of just making it better and trying to make it better, because sometimes it is more difficult and sometimes it's easier, because especially in the design world, it's really something which is quite funny, at least in my point of view, that you do not really know how to solve things, before you try them. You gotta have to try some things till you see whether it is working or it is not working. And if it is not working, you just have to try something new. But like, of course, if you're just doing the exact same things over and over again, what is just looking good or what is aesthetic and what is working and what is not working. But if you're just doing something new, then you don't know. Of course, there are just also some rules or some general things that just look good and whatnot, and that can help you doing that. But really, it's like, we have to figure it out, which is actually quite interesting then. But let's have a look at the next quote and see if it is any good or just special or something else. Well, it is actually the exact same one. So thanks a lot. Isaac Asimov. People who think they know everything are a great annoyance to those of us who do. Kinda, I would say so, but don't judge them. It is what it is. Please don't judge these people, really not. Procrastination is the art of keeping up with yesterday. From Don Marcus. Mark Twain, get your facts first. I kind of have a Confucius. The will to win and the desire to succeed, the urge to reach your full potential. These are the keys that will unlock the door to personal excellence. Because, and I actually also have to say, like, there is probably going to be something that you want to improve or that you want to have. In terms of, you really have to have it. Some people actually really want success really fucking bad. And they are the ones that are really likely to get there because they're really willing to have it. If it is about some bullshit like money or materialistic shit, I don't know if it is drive enough to get you there as well. I'm not quite sure about that. And I don't think that it is also going to be enough for just getting to personal excellence or to just mastering whatever it is all about. Architecture, engineering, whatever it might be. But I think just desiring something. And as he says, like, if it is really an urge to reach something, you really have to have something. Like, it is something that's just really strong. And it is actually really, really, really extreme and interesting and just also kind of scary sometimes how bad people just want some things sometimes. What it is like, whatever it might be, but some people are just really obsessed with whatever they're doing. I mean, like, let's talk about Elon Musk, and Elon Musk just working fucking 180 hours per week for fucking Tesla and building Tesla as a company. Like, it is insane. But he just really wanted to do that. What I want to say is that if we really want some things, we human beings, we can really, really be fucking crazy with trying to achieve that, and going for it and reaching this potential or reaching this whatever it might be. Like, we can really be fucking crazy about that. Like, it is sometimes it's fucking insane. Like, really, it's I don't know. Well, it could actually be scary sometimes, even though I do not want to say that because it's kind of negative, and this is definitely not a negative thing to do or to have. Just such an urge and such a drive. Ellen DeGeneres. My grandmother started walking 5 miles a day when she was 60. She's 97 now, and we don't know where the hell she is. Well, is it like just now funny, or is it like sad? I can't actually tell. Well, let's see. George Carlin. Don't sweat the pretty things and don't pet the sweaty things. I don't know what the fuck this should tell me. This is one that we've already had. Sam Levinson. Don't watch the clock. Do what it does. Keep going. Yes, because and it reminds me of something that Kevin Hart was talking about when he had the interview with Joe Rogan, which is something that's pretty interesting. And he said, the sun is gonna rise. No matter what, the sun is gonna rise. Every single morning, the sun is gonna be there. Every single morning. No matter what fucking happens, the sun is gonna be there. And it just tells you something. It just says something. And what it says is that no matter what is happening, you can just always go ahead, I guess. And you can always keep going because the sun keeps going as well. Like, there's no fucking day where the sun is not going to be there unless you're just living in Scandinavia and there's like a day of no just sun. I think there's actually one day in the year, isn't there? But I'm not quite sure about it. But still, yes. There's not going to be one fucking single day where there's no fucking sun. And it's crazy, because we can also just keep going until we get to where we want to be, whatever it might be all about, But of course, sometimes it's going to be just more difficult to just go, and on some other days, it's not going to be that of a hard thing, It is what it is, It really is what it is. But let's see the next quote, and we've already had that one, so fuck you. Steve Martin, a day without sunshine is like night. Well, you could just interpret that as like, okay, one day. I don't know who Stephen Martin, by the way, is. Maybe let's look it up. So as Wikipedia says, Stephen Glenn Martin, and I hope it is actually the right Stephen Martin, is an American actor, comedian, writer, and musician. Martin came to public notice in the 1960s as a writer for the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour and later as a frequent guest on The Tonight Show. In the 1970s, Martin performed his offbeat, absurdist comedy routines before packed houses on national tours. Since the 1980s, having branched away from comedy, Martin has become a successful actor as well as an author, playwright, pianist, and banjo player, or banjo. I actually like banjos. I don't know why, but I think they're kind of cute and old and whatnot. Eventually earning him Emmy, Grammy, and American Comedy Awards, among other honors. In 2004, Comedy Central ranked Martin at 6th place in the list of the 100 greatest stand-up comedians, which is insane, but still really cool to be honored in such a way. Like, it must feel really cool. He was awarded an honorary academic award at the Academy's 5th Annual Governors Award in 2013. So he's basically a really, really successful guy, and also like his signature. Like, I gotta have to say, most often relatively famous people are having a quite cool signature. I know sometimes, and I don't know if you know that, and I don't know if it is also the case in your place, but if you're going to the doctors and you're just having to just get signed something, their fucking signature is so fucking insane. It's gonna be a circle and then that's it. Like, just one circle and nobody fucking can read it, and you can also replicate it like just as easily as, I don't know, as whatever you want to compare it with, but it's gonna be really fucking easy. And I don't know if this is actually like, if you can do that, because also I adjust my signature and I'm always having a different one. I don't know if this is also a problem or if this can be a problem, because I assume that it could be. I assume. I don't know. I don't know if somebody can say like, okay, this is not your real one and this is your real one. I don't know. It just actually has to be the case, because if you're just signing something and just the next day you're just signing something else with a completely different signature, I mean, like, can you do that? Would actually be a quite interesting question though. Like, and by the way, just because I'm seeing it, you can find Stephen Martin on stephenmartin.com. I actually wonder what is on there. And then we're going to go back to the quote thing. Well, it is, I haven't seen such a, it is actually, to be honest, it's not such a bad site. It looks really old, but it doesn't look old in terms of like really old, but it is looking old like the designer wanted it to look old. And this is something that's cool then. But if it is just an old and outdated website, it is fucked up and shitty. Something that I do not really like is that it is not responsible or responsive. Therefore, I'm just not able to view it in just a really small window. Like, I don't like that. I think it is just actually something that you maybe, I do not want to say should have, because like, you should be having this and that is just often not the right thing. But yeah, let's see. The next quote is again from Ayn Rand. I think it is like Francis of Assisi. Start by doing what is necessary and then do what's possible. And suddenly you're doing the impossible. And I have to say it also makes sense in terms of productivity. First of all, just really focusing on what is necessary and then moving forward with what you can actually just do, and what you're able to do. It just really makes sense. Especially if I'm also thinking about design processes and things that I've just been doing in the really just near past, just recently, that I've just really been doing recently. And when I'm then focusing on some things that are not that necessary, before I've even done something that is necessary, I'm gonna fuck my whole plan. When I'm actually having to design something for school, and I'm also just having to let it grade it in the end. If this is like right, I don't actually know. But the thing is, if I'm just having to just do something for school and I'm just focusing on whatever I can do, which does not mean that I'm doing what I should be doing, then I'm just gonna get a fucking F. I'm gonna be that. Not that, but I'm gonna get an F. In the end, because I focused on not what is necessary, but what is just really unnecessary. But maybe, you can, if you think about drawing something, if you're drawing something, you could be just drawing or shading. Let's talk about the shading part. If you're shading a drawing of yours, then you can shade the whole figure. Let's talk about a figure. You can just shade the whole figure in one way, in terms of, if you're having several layers, which is probably going to be the case, just putting one layer over the whole one might be maybe necessary. But you could also just shade one small piece entirely with all the 100 layers or whatever, just whatever amount of layers you maybe have. But then you're just doing what you can do possibly, But it is not like, okay, only because you've just shaded the left foot just completely, does not mean that you have just also just that you're complete with the whole drawing, because you're not, because you also have to shade the other foot and the whole body and the head and the arms and the hands, all those things, the things that you actually should be doing. But if you run out of time by doing some things like, okay, I'm gonna shade a really small little part of the whole thing, then it is like fucked up. Because if you're just having to give it to your teacher then or whatever, yeah, you're fucked, because you haven't done what is necessary, which is shading the whole fucking figure. But you've shaded a part of it. Really good and really well, probably, but it's not the whole one, It really does make sense to focus on what is necessary in the first place, and then do what you really can do. And you probably can do a fucking lot. Like, I really assume that you're able to do just a really fucking lot and a really good job at whatever it might be, whether it is designing, whether it is engineering something, whether it is making shoes. I don't know what you're doing, but you probably are really good at something, because we all are. Everyone is just really talented at something, whatever it might be all about. We all are. The next quote from the Dalai Lama. This one's going to be, the only problem that I'm seeing there is that it is written wrongly. Happiness is written with 2 P's. And I'm just, it is funny that I'm saying this because I'm the worst fucking guy at fucking spelling. Like, I can't fucking spell anything. Like, it is insane. It really isn't. I don't actually know why. I don't know why I'm such a bad speller. But I can't spell for shit. I can't just do that. It is just like, it's not who I am. Maybe it's just also something that I've just defaulted in. Like, I could, but because I'm always saying like, okay, this is me, this is my identity, this is who I am, it could just also be the case that I'm just not doing it then. That I'm not just able to do it just because I think that it is me, that it is my identity, which is, by the way, something that I've recently been talking about in another episode of the podcast, when it has been all about habits, which has, by the way, been a really amazing one. Like, talk about habits is something that's really cool and also necessary and important. Happiness is not something ready-made. It comes from your own actions. And I would say so. Like, it's not going to come to you. You really have to search for it and you really have to do something for it. Whether it is working on something that you enjoy. George Calvin. Always do whatever's next. Does it mean like that you shouldn't be living in the past and that you should just look forward to whatever it might be? Could be the case. I don't know. Again, the same one. Albert Hubert. Do not take life too seriously. You will never get out of it alive. I know that some people might find that funny, but I actually kind of don't. Actually, I don't know why I'm not finding it funny. Margaret Mead. Always remember that you're absolutely unique, just like everyone else. And it is also one of the reasons why comparing yourself to somebody else is such a fucked up and bullshitty idea. Because they are them and you are you. And it is what it fucking is. Like, there's no fucking reason to compare yourself with somebody else. No fucking reason. Really not. Like, You might be having the same colors of your eyes. This might be just what you're having in common, but then that might be it, you know? Let's actually see what Margaret Mead is, because I wonder who this is that is saying something like that. I really wonder. Stevie Wonder, I wonder. Margaret Mead was born in 1901 and died in 1978, was an American cultural anthropologist who featured frequently as an author and speaker in the mass media during the 1960s and 1970s. She earned her bachelor's degree at Barnard College in New York City and her MA and PhD degrees from Columbia University. Serves as president of the American Association for the Advancement of Science in 1975, which is quite something, which is quite something. Luther Cressman. She had 3 spouses as far as I can see there, and all have been, and she divorced of all of them, I guess, which seems to be the case. By the way, something that I'm often wondering is why don't they say like Margaret's MA, PhD and whatnot? Like, isn't it just a part of your name once you've earned those titles? Isn't it the case? Because I don't know. I assume it is, because it's probably also going to be in your passport, I guess. Isn't it? Is it? No, it's not. I'm not quite sure about that, but it would actually kind of make sense, because always, I don't know. But she actually did something, and if you're a woman, you can also do something like she was doing, you're fucking strong. You are really, really fucking strong. And I actually want to push that a little bit further, I would say. Like, I kind of often feel like that sometimes women feel weak, but they're fucking not. Like, I mean, even though there's a lot of just guys in really high positions, there's just really a lot of women in really, really, really high positions as well. Like Angela Merkel, if you're talking about just politics in Germany. I think Microsoft is also having a woman in a really high position. Like a lot of companies, a lot of great companies are having women in really high positions, Your gender does not say anything about your competence or about what you're good at and whatnot. That's what I have to say. But yeah, this is gonna probably be the end of the episode, It's probably gonna be it. I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success, and I really hope that that you've liked this episode. I really hope that. But thanks a lot. I actually really appreciate that. I really have to thank you. Like, thank you. I don't know why. I wish you the best health, happiness, and also success. And I really hope that you're going to remind yourself and you're going to be remembered, which basically means your legacy. And 3 other questions that I'm having for you are, why are you here? What are you trying to change? And what is bothering you the most? And these 3 questions are hopefully going to show you your purpose, and maybe it's even going to show you a business idea. But yeah, with that being said, I'll hopefully see you the next time. So please consider subscribing. By the way, I'm going to see you. I hope.